Hey there guys, it's your favorite backyard geographer. I was out in the garage going through my junk and I thought about you. Now, in 1954 we were taken on an adventure deep beneath the ocean on the big screen, but in 1959 guests were sent on an adventure in a submarine to journey through liquid space. Although gone now, there are still memories and Seaweed from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Submarine Voyage. As you can see, I've got the blue up here, I've got the pink right here. This has never been opened. So I want to take an opportunity here to see what it looks like. So again, this is original Seaweed that was manufactured for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And it's 8 foot. Well, that's about as far out as I'm able to get it. But there it is. Authentic Seaweed from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. All 8 feet of it. So something else I wanted to share. This here is a book right after the movie was released from my very good friend Dan Smith. Thank you, Dan. So I'm going to put that there, and then I also have this. I'm going to place over here. This is a print of the poster signed by Bob Gurr, which we'll talk about in a moment. Now, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was a huge success for Walt and his team as a movie, and in fact, it won 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Art Direction and Special Effects. For those Disney enthusiasts, Soundstage 3 at Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California had to be built in order to house the massive wave tank for some of the most intense scenes ever recorded. With such an elaborate set and success from the film, between 1955 and 1966, guests could actually do a walk-through attraction where you could see some of the original sets and the organ from Captain Nemo's ship, the Nautilus. And fun fact, that organ you can still see today in the Haunted Mansion. What's interesting is it was supposed to be a very temporary walk-through attraction where they brought in literally the sets from the studio there at the park. They removed it to make room for adventures through inner space and Tomorrowland, which most of us today would know that as a spot of where Star Tours is. Anyway, in 1959, with the expansion of Tomorrowland, guests were welcomed with 8 submarines, which were made in San Pedro at the harbor, which at that time made Walt Disney the owner of the 8th largest submarine fleet in the world. And a fun fact, they cost Walt $80,000 a piece to make. Now, this rendition that we know of would close in 1998 and reopen as Finding Nemo's Submarine Voyage in 2007. But did you know that before Nemo, it was actually going to be redesigned as an attraction based on the movie Atlantis, The Lost Empire? Now, in 1971 to 1996, Walt Disney World would have their own version of the Submarine Voyage, which is where this Seaweed had come from, in which Disney legend Bob Gurr, who signed this poster for me, was the one in charge of overseeing the attraction, the vehicles, and stuff like that. They ended up closing for an overhaul in 1994. It was intermittently open and closed, and then it was completely removed by 1996. So here's some fun facts. When Soviet Premier Khrushchev was denied permission to go to Disneyland, Walt Disney was really disappointed, as he wanted to introduce Khrushchev to Disneyland's official submarine fleet back in 1959. Now also, the Submarine Voyage is one of the original e-ticket attractions, along with the Matterhorn. Now, aside from the rendition of Disneyland that has now been painted yellow, have you ever noticed the expedition name on the side of the submarines? It says the Nautical Exploration of Marine Observation Institute, which is an acronym for NEMO. Now, during that remodel, Imagineers also added some additional lighting effects inside the container. In fact, the submarines used to fit 38, now they can fit 40. But they had added some additional lighting inside when you would go on the attraction. There was a spot where there's a bunch of water mines that would explode, and they designed the attraction to actually then tilt with the explosion of the mines, but that was immediately removed due to people getting seasick, which is kind of funny because you're not really under the sea. But anyway, also between 1965 and 1967, Disneyland had mermaids on staff that would be seen sunbathing and doing synchronous swimming. And did you know that they were paid a whole $1.65 an hour to do that? And the last fun fact, which has to do with water, is that the attraction at Disneyland itself, the lagoon, holds 9 million gallons of water. That is a lot of water. Anyway, maybe you remember the movie in which I speak of. Maybe you remember the attraction at Disneyland, maybe the one at Disney World, or maybe you like Seaweed. Well, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Can you?
Oh, you out of focus, buddy.
Yes, I am.
He's like, why? Why am I out of